started. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm going to call to order the meeting of the Town Center Committee on Friday, September the 24th, 2021. Our meeting is being held in the Matthew Thornton Room, and we'll begin by reminding everyone to turn on their microphones for speaking. And we have some interesting business to catch up on this afternoon. This is noon. So, having called to order and reminded you about your microphones, I'll take the minutes again unless somebody would like to do that. And that being taken care of, normally I would go right to item number 3 on the agenda, which is the approval of minutes of August 13th. Maybe we can dispense with that quickly and go on from there. Do I have a motion or a desire for those minutes? Bill, you're moving to approve the minutes as submitted?
As submitted.
And Karen, did you?
I'll second.
Okay. Karen. Okay, all those in favor of approving the minutes as submitted? Any opposed or abstaining? Dawn wants to abstain. Did you? You were here.
I was here.
Yeah.
But I'm not a voting member.
Well, aren't you designated to replace Kyle for this meeting? Then you can.
I don't know if specifically for this meeting, but I am in everything else.
We'll accept your vote to approve, unless, if you have anything about the minutes that you don't like, please tell us, yep. Otherwise, they'll become the official record of the meeting. Normally, with this point, I would go into the discussion of old business, but we have something special new today that I want to call everyone's attention to, and that is we have a woman in the audience, Karen Contos, and she is interested in becoming a member of the Town Center Committee. So these being rare and unusual happenings, I would like to give her an opportunity to say anything you'd like about your interest in this committee, and we'll make the arrangements. The appointments are made by the town council to this committee, but we definitely have openings, and if you'd like to come and say something or tell us why you're interested, or have you submitted anything in writing to the council to express your interest?
Hello.
Hello.
I did submit a letter of interest to, is it Becky?
Yes.
Yes. And so she was going to arrange an appointment, or an interview appointment to interview with, I guess, Nelson, the town chair, and one other person. And that's supposed to be October 4th, I believe.
Oh, okay.
That's what she told me anyway.
Okay.
I'm new to Merrimack, and
Welcome.
I'm very much, it's been around a year now, very much interested in, I like to bike and hike and walk, and so I really like the idea of it all being, sidewalks and bike racks and everything to encourage people to move around easily in the city, like a walkability of the city.
Yeah. Good. Well, that's what we're about. So, we have several things going on, and maybe I can fill you in on some of those later. Or you could, I'm about to give an annual report to the town council at the end of October, and so I'm pulling together what we've done the past year, and we've been around for about 10 years or so. It seems forever, and we're slowly making progress, but emphasis on the slow. It's unfortunate this is one of these committees that's dependent upon the public interest, and the more public interest we have, the better. And Nick has been working hard to get us. This is Nicholas LaValle. He's head of the media services here. He is officially a member of our committee now. And he's asked me if he could be first on the agenda tonight because he's got a disaster going on in the next room with some sort of water leakage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Before I start, I was just curious, how did you find out about the town center committee?
I went online to the town hall website.
Town website.
And there's a big posting on there. It says volunteers wanted, and it lists all the different committees, like the planning committee needed people too, and I think almost every committee except their conservation commission had openings.
Yes.
So yeah, no, it's just right on the home page of the
Right.
town hall meeting. So
Cool.
yeah, I haven't served officially. I've been on nonprofit boards before, but not a municipality.
Gotcha.
So
Where were you before? Where did you live before?
I lived in Arizona.
Oh,
So
wow. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
big change in a city of 500,000 people, Mesa, Arizona, huge city.
Wow.
And so I'm telling you, we're loving it here in this small community surrounded by trees.
Right.
We're loving it. So
Good.
yeah.
Well, welcome, Karen. We'll welcome you to the committee, and we'll see if we can get you involved.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Okay. Nick, would you like to give us a brief synopsis of where you are to this day? We're talking about the Facebook.
Sure. I'll if you don't mind, I guess I'll cover these few agendas here, few items here where it's we could talk about the Woodbury Street video, but I think until I have more information from Don or Kyle about the progress of the of the sidewalk itself, but as soon as we have more progress, we'll be there with a camera, we'll script it, we'll figure out how to proceed there. And as far as the Facebook page goes, that's one of the reasons why I asked our member of the public today, who hopefully will join the committee, how they had found out about us, because I wasn't sure if I was going to hear Facebook or our YouTube channel, because we have these, videos for outreach, not just for the town center committee, but all the different boards and committees. And we're trying to update that now every couple months, if not weeks, because so many of the committees have a shortage right now. So what we talked about at the last meeting was kind of an overview of the town center itself. So I kind of went through and identified the key areas, and Colin and I have been talking the past couple weeks about, how exactly we'd go about shooting this video, and what we'd want to highlight. Kyle kind of put this in my mind when we did the roundabout video. He said that the roundabout almost serves as an entryway to the town center committee. And I really like the idea of that. Now, I don't know if that goes too far off of your plan, but because we're going to be doing one final video about the roundabout, we've already done two. We did one that was, why they're doing it, safety reasons, etc. The other video we did about the roundabout just was a kind of a generic kind of update, drive slow while construction's going on. The third roundabout video is going to be once it's done, how to navigate it. So we're going to be getting a lot of footage with the roundabout once that project's complete, and I'd like to kind of have that part of the town center video as well. Obviously, it's not going to be the focal point, but I just thought it would be nice to include it in there, and then that way this video is very up to date.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Karen, I didn't. Yeah.
That's the way I presented it to the town council, it's the gateway to the town center.
So I just like the sound of that. It's the gateway to the town center.
Yeah.
Then other things we wanted to highlight in this town center video as well. Wildcat Falls. Last summer, Karen would know. Karen, you're on Conservation Commission. No? Okay.
No,
Got that
I remember hearing about it and seeing it.
We must have talked about it then on the side.
Yeah.
But, you know, all the things that happened at Wildcats Falls last summer and the parking changes that took place, I also think that that could be part of the video as well. Because what we want to do is we want to connect all these different locations. So I need to have some sort of, Colin and I need to try to figure out how we can connect all of these places so the video is very cohesive, concise, and all the dots are connected there.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it should just be, you know, where to park and where to, you know, if you're driving here, if you're going to park and then take advantage of the different trails, sidewalks, cycling, etc., then that should also be included in this town center video. So those are the things that Colin and I have kind of been discussing.
Yeah. Well, that's great, and don't worry about stepping out of our boundaries. I would, for the purposes that you're doing, I would say go for it. Go for it.
Okay.
Tie it all together. It's all part of the town, and
My concern
Yeah.
was about the fact that Wildcat Falls and some of the other trails are outside what has
Yeah.
been designated as the
Yeah.
town center. But if you want to do an overview of the different opportunities that there are,
yeah.
regardless of whether it's town center connected, then I would suggest that we get Parks and Rec involved too.
That's something I could talk to Matt about for sure, but
Yeah.
you know, I think I have all these locations, right? Watson Park, Wildcat Falls, Twin Bridge Park, high school, businesses, town hall. Especially the past year, we've been collecting so much different footage and all these different videos that we're creating, and a lot of these locations we have footage now.
Yeah.
Because we've taped. We're going to be at Abbey Griffin Park this weekend for the Angels of Hope ceremony. So we're going to have footage of people congregating there. We have footage from Abbey Griffin Park from the chief of police retirement. A couple different things that we worked on with Matt. We have footage of football games, the high school, and people, you know, congregating back there, and then students walking down Woodbury Ave. So slowly we've gathered all this footage that we can reuse.
Yeah.
That will be part of this video, because
Yeah.
we just don't want to just show, you know, landscapes. We want to show public and people actually using,
Yeah.
you know,
Good.
being active in the town
Yeah.
center. So those are the things that Colin and I have discussed. At the last meeting, I think I was being real ambitious, saying, let's have this done before, so that when you present it to the council. I don't know if that's going to happen.
That's okay. I can
think-
talk about it going to happen.
Sure, that's
Yeah,
fine.
This is good stuff, yeah.
But it's, you know, it's going to be a longer form video. When I say longer form, I don't think it's going to, you know, exceed 10 minutes. But for us at this point, and even this day and age, you know, that's kind of a longer form
It's the
video.
attention span of the viewer.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that's about it on the video, and then at least the town center video, and then the Facebook page. You know, it exists. There's not a heck of a lot on it since our last meeting. I did post the video with Chuck Mower from the 275th anniversary committee, the bridge presentation there, and happily add new content as well. Maybe. We're definitely doing this video about the Angels of Hope happening at Abbey Griffin Park. That's something we could probably share next week as well on the
Yeah.
Facebook page.
Yeah.
Also, the fire department just had their ceremony for the new fire truck. I could add that video on there as well. That's part of the town center.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the fire department
Yeah.
would like to see that video in a few more places. So
Sure. Yeah. Okay, well, that's all pretty good news. Anything for Nick? Anything?
Bill must have a question for me. He's smiling over there.
He's
I'm just smiling at you, man.
Okay.
Just trying to be friendly.
No, these are good things that are happening, and it's good for our publicity and our outreach.
Yeah.
Part of our committee to get the word out so that more people like Karen Contos will step forth. But good, that's good news. Anybody have any questions or comments for Nick? You're gonna stick around, I hope, if you don't get called to
Yeah, no, I'll definitely stick around.
hold a water bucket. Okay. Then we can move on to the next item of business, which is the status of the Woodbury Street sidewalk. This is Dawn's specialty. What's new, Dawn? What's happening?
Well, we sent the bid documents out. We had the bid opening last week,
Mm-hmm.
so we've chosen the contractor.
Uh-huh.
Sorry. So we opened the bid documents last week, and we've chosen Continental Paving as
Uh-huh.
the contractor. Had already contacted Eversource earlier, the end of July, August. Next week, they will be in to relocate the 2 poles that need to be relocated that would end up in the middle of the sidewalk.
Okay.
So they're gonna begin that process and put the new poles in. Then the process of switching the lines over will begin, just as we had done at the roundabout. So it's
Yeah.
one company after the other, after the other. The good news is there are not so many lines as we
Yes,
had
I
out at the
didn't even-
roundabout.
I didn't even remember that there were any in our way, but
There are.
there's always one, right?
There's also a gas line that runs right down the middle of the sidewalk where it's proposed, and I've already been dealing with Liberty Utilities, and they tell me it's buried deep enough that we shouldn't affect it.
Okay.
There's also another one up at the top of the hill where we'll be cutting the trees back,
Mhm.
up at the high school that wraps around their driveway. It's just outside. We shouldn't affect that, but I haven't got a full confirmation from Liberty yet, but
Yeah.
that should be okay. So that's moving forward. I've put out what's called a doodle poll to be able to hold a pre-construction meeting somewhere in the next couple of weeks. So Xenia's still in the process of sending out the contract and all of that, and getting back all of the insurance information and whatnot that we need to have before we can proceed, or
Yeah.
have them proceed. But once we have the pre-construction meeting, they'll be allowed to go forward with the job. And they want
Yeah.
to get it done because of the time frame. We have given them to the December 3rd
Yeah.
to get this substantially complete. It might not have the grass on it until next year because
Yeah.
we're gonna be outside of the growing season, so they'll have to do some winter
Yeah.
protection of the slopes. The other part that's going to be a little bit difficult is we've added drainage to the sidewalk. So in addition to the sidewalk, the plans call for replacing some of the drainage because we're not gonna go through all of this work and then have to rip the street up because a culvert collapsed. So we are replacing those that need to be replaced. It is very difficult right now to get pipe, to get catch basins.
Yeah.
It's a couple of months out, so that part might also get pushed off until the spring, but we're hoping that we can get what we need to be able to
Yeah.
do that. The other part that we've added to this project is, once it is all done, to pave from Daniel Webster up to McElwain, the whole, put an overlay over it so it'll look really nice to match the sidewalk.
Yeah. Is it likely that will be done this year?
It's gonna depend on the weather,
Yeah.
whether we can get the pipe, because I'm not gonna pave until after I get that drainage put in.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
pave the sidewalk, but,
Yeah.
so they'll have, hopefully the sidewalk should be in and okay, along with the curbing,
Yeah.
and the slopes should be done.
Yeah.
But they won't be vegetated at this point.
Okay.
So,
When did the asphalt plants close? That used to be-
December 1st, which is why I chose the date I chose.
Yeah. Okay, okay, that's still.
Typically,
That will happen regardless of what we do, right?
right, so
Yeah.
we're moving forward, and
Yeah.
I know you feel it's a snail's pace, but we are moving fairly rapidly, actually, for construction.
Well, I see some progress on the cul-de-sac, not the cul-de-sac, the roundabout. And I know that's been your priority this summer at least, and it's still not quite complete, but it's coming. And they put
It's-
asphalt down.
It's
Yeah.
coming. First of next week, I can't say whether it's gonna be Monday or Tuesday, they're gonna be pouring the concrete apron and some of the concrete islands. Those have to sit and cure. We cannot have somebody driving over those at this point. They need to be left alone. So in order to do that, we'll pour it, and we're gonna have to keep the traffic off of it and keep it where it's at right now for next week and possibly into
Yeah.
the following week,
Yeah.
because we have to allow the concrete to do its job. Otherwise, we'll end up with a big mess.
Yeah.
So then after that is done, we'll have to move the traffic over and then fix the section that they are driving on, which will be putting in the rest of the curbing that we can't put in right now
Yeah.
because they'd be driving over it, which wouldn't be any good.
Would-
And then also putting in the loam and
Yeah.
the grass on that side. They're coming along. It's probably gonna be another 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks at least for final completion, but probably within the next 2 or so, you'll be moving around the roundabout. The streetlights have gone up, so that there should be lighting out there. And then also, we have, the signs are all there. They're
Yeah.
not physically up, but they are ready
Yeah.
to go up,
Yeah.
so that people will know how. And then with Nick, as he said, we're gonna try to put that video out so that we can try to teach
Yeah.
the public how
Yeah.
to be able to do
Yeah.
the roundabout.
Yeah. Okay. There's probably moving the poles, which going back to Woodbury Street, is probably not much for Nick to videotape there, right? I mean, it's not very exciting part of the construction to watch them put in a new telephone pole.
Probably not.
It's gonna be Thursday or Friday next week. is
Okay.
when
Yeah.
we're Looking
Keep
at
it in
that.
mind.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Don. That's good. All that is good news, and it's progress. It's real progress. And there was no. I'm glad that there's been no problem with the contract as far as we know, and we're okay there as far as finances and that sort of thing.
It's tight.
What?
It's tight, but
Tight,
like
yeah.
I said, I used other funding
Yeah.
for the other parts that weren't typically part of the sidewalk.
Yeah. Good work.
Even though the sidewalk contributes to them,
Yeah.
and they were necessary because of it, but they were also necessary
Okay,
because
yeah.
of the age, so.
Well, thank you for creative engineering. That's good. The next item on our agenda, any questions or comments for Dawn on the Woodbury Street? Moving along. All right, we'll get the kids out of the road, maybe by spring. Next item on the agenda was the Souhegan River Trail. And what have you to report for us for that?
In doing the state wetlands is requiring the boardwalk
Yeah,
type crossing.
yeah,
We have to have, before we can proceed any further, permission from DOT again because of that change in the plan.
yeah.
So it has gone back to DOT for their blessing or comments or whatever it is they're going to do to it.
Okay, that's where we were last month. At that time, we thought maybe they would be happy to see that, since they suggested we do it this way.
That was wetlands, that was That was a
Oh.
different group of people.
Oh.
We now
okay.
have to go back to the people that are funding this, which is DOT, Department of Transportation. So, yeah, it's a different, state agency, different group.
Okay, but how about the Wetlands Board? Are they happy now?
We have not heard from them.
We
no.
haven't heard from them either, yeah. There was another issue having to do with the historic resources. They hadn't approved, last time we reported that they didn't, they hadn't commented yet. We still are waiting for an approval from them.
I believe that's still true.
Oh. Do we have communication going with these groups?
Through our, yes, through our contractor, yes, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't even promise us that we'll get back to you next week, month, year? No? Well, I don't know where to go from here. I'll go back to the council and tell them, use some pressure somehow.
I don't think that will work, but it's a state.
What will work? I mean,
We'll get there. Believe they had requested to October, if I remember correctly. So we're looking.
is that two as in number two?
Had,
Second
from,
of October?
from the last time, they had requested to extend their review
Okay.
time until October.
Oh, okay. So that's another
It's
month.
coming up,
That's
It's
at least
month.
a month, yeah. Questions or comments from the board, committee?
Grumbling.
Grumble, mumble, yeah. Matt Chevanel, we're missing today. He was gonna tell us about the high school master plan. I think it should be completed by now. This is the plan they were working with Keach Nordstrom, and that was going to include the O'Gara sidewalk, and that's why we've been so interested in it. And we don't have anything, no report, huh? Okay. We talked about videotaping Woodbury Street and all that. And the town center, Nicholas gave us his report. And, well, the Route 3 Babusick Brook Bridge, any,
I have nothing new for that one.
yeah. And where are we,
I believe last month we were given permission to begin the final, or the design, preliminary design on the
yeah,
project,
yeah.
because we're trying to find some other funding sources for that.
Yeah, yes, I remember that part, yeah.
Mhm.
That ties in with my annual report to the town council. I was going to include a plea to put back into the budget for next year, that would be for 22-23 now, to put money back in for a piece of our sidewalk plan. And the piece that we had voted as next in line for a year ago was the piece of sidewalk that's on, I think it's on Twin Bridge Road, and it goes from Route 3 down to connect into the trail that comes from Twin Bridge Park, and ties that into that also will tie into the sidewalk, the Tractor Supply parking lot and sidewalk there that'll bring it all the way to Front Street and beyond. So that is something that we wanted to, I'm going to ask them, beg them, plead them to put it back in. Remember, it was in a year ago and then they took it out. So that's our plan, Dawn, is to try and get the town to do something with that piece of sidewalk. Because it's one piece we can do that will be once we get the bridge in place, we'll have a complete loop that will go from, let's say from Twin Bridge Park, it'll go all the way around and come back out on Route 3. And the pieces on Route 3 are kind of held up by the need for some work done on the bridge. It'll tie into the bridge work and also into the Wire Road intersection work. So that's the priority that we set a year ago. I'm going to go back and tell them again that that's what we'd like to do, unless somebody has any other ideas of what we ought to ask for. Just put that on the table.
Well, we've discussed it, and we've discussed it, and we've seemed to agree that this was maybe the most achievable project.
Yes.
And so, let's go with the most achievable project.
Yeah.
Just so we can try and get something.
Get some progress going, yeah. And I think following that, we talked about the library to the overpass, basically, the north side of Babusick Lake Road, going from the library across in front of the church, in front of the cemetery, and all the way up. And that will tie into the O'Gara Drive, the walkway that's coming along O'Gara Drive. So, you okay with that? You're looking at me like you didn't hear this before.
Surprise.
Maybe she wished she didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the bridge by Pinenberg's,
Yeah.
that's, according to the plans, has a sidewalk on both sides of that,
Yes.
okay? So you're talking about the piece from, and then Wire Road, that intersection, we're in the 10-year plan for the state for that now. And I don't remember the year, I should have brought that
Yeah.
information. I've been working on it, but I don't, all the dates are, I've been working on all the projects to bring them all up to date, so I should have brought that with me, and I didn't, I apologize. So there'll be a piece in there, but you're right, there's missing a piece from Wire Road to the library that needs to be done. I believe there's an easement on one of those pieces of land already, but not on all of it. Then there was a design, we were working from the library going up to the F.E. Everett with on Babusick Lake, for the north side of Babusick Lake, putting a sidewalk on that side. There
Yeah.
were pieces on the south side already of Babusick Lake, or on this side, the town hall side, I
Yes.
should say. So the sidewalk on the other side, on the cemetery side and the police station side, would tie in when the state does the Babusick Lake Road Bridge over the F.E. Everett. They will be putting in one sidewalk. No, that one has two sidewalks, I
That one has
apologize.
two
So it
sidewalks.
will, we are required to, they want to see that they're putting that sidewalk there, that it's going to tie into something, and that's going to be one of their conditions. So in having this plan to go forward and bring it up from the
Yeah.
library, that would satisfy
Yeah.
the state for that requirement.
Yeah. Dawn, there's still one issue you brought up and you reminded me, it's not on our hot list because it's a big problem. And that is the sidewalk that runs from the library to Wire Road. The issue there was Church Street. And this committee, we did a bunch of work, we talked to all the neighbors, we talked to the church, we talked to everybody who would listen about discontinuing that little piece of Church Street that runs down to Route 3. There's been some accidents there, there's some safety issues with it, and you can't build a legal sidewalk across that intersection where the Church Street comes down because the pitch is so high without some major reconstruction of the.
Excuse me, and didn't a child get hit on a bicycle?
Yes, yeah, kid was hit on a bicycle, yeah. Kid recovered, so I guess it's okay. But,
That was the section of sidewalk, several years ago, I had received a TAP grant for doing that section of sidewalk along with Woodbury Street. We ended up rolling those TAP grants into the Souhegan River sidewalk to add monies to that. So we had that project, but we couldn't move forward because we needed the funding for the trail.
well,
So I have, and yes, I did, that was right after that child got hit on the bicycle. And that was one of the things I had put within, it's a safety issue for the public and especially for children, and they want to be out crossing the street to get to the MYA
the park,
area over
yeah.
there.
Well,
So, anyway, yes, I'm aware of that little section, and yes, I'm aware of all of those issues.
it's an issue perhaps I should bring to the attention of the council once again. Because we wrote them a letter recommending the discontinuance of Church Street. And it's been 5 years since they wrote the letter, and I don't think it's on their radar right now. So at least it'll put it back on their radar to to start thinking about it.
Don, question. Could you explain what a TAP grant is for those of us who are new?
Sorry. It's a Transportation Alternatives Program. So the state of New Hampshire, along with the federal government, we apply for these grants, and these grants are 80% state and 20% town.
Okay.
So we propose these projects, and they're usually every 2 years. However, this last cycle was 3 years, and they've changed the way we do things, as you will find out in the next item as we address that. So I had received that grant back in 2016. The 2018, I put the Babusick Lake Road sidewalk along with Woodbury Street. Unfortunately, I think I placed 8th out of 30-something throughout the state, because this is not just this area. It's statewide program, and you have to be chosen, and you go through a whole process to be able to get there. So I think I came in 8th. They only chose or had money for the top 7, so I was just outside the limit. They really liked the Woodbury Street. They understood that. But this time around, we had no idea when they were going to be doing another round of applications. And they came out in January of this year with another round, but we were already well into the design of Woodbury Street, so I had to change gears on that. Because we were doing that ourselves, undertaking that ourselves, so.
Well, that's how we got to do that, yeah. We had used that money for Woodbury Street toward the Sohegan River Trail, which
Mm.
was,
So that's why we've lost those pieces, or they're not being done right now.
They never, they weren't on this committee's radar, okay? That, as a TAP grant.
No, but the pieces are on your plan, because that's where I took it from.
Oh, the pieces are
The
there.
pieces
Oh,
are
yeah.
on your
The pieces
plan.
are there back
Yes.
to the iTrack study. Okay. Okay. Let me see here, the, chamber, yeah, well, then there's another, I think, I will make a point to you're answering my question, which was what points I should make to the town council as part of our annual review. And I'm going to include now the piece on Twin Bridge Road as a, please put that back in. And then what was the other thing I had? Well, that's the only thing I think I have.
Church Street, you said,
What?
you wanted the Church
Oh,
Street.
the Church Street, just absolutely, absolutely. Okay.
See, and you thought I wasn't listening.
I wasn't listening. Okay. The other thing I wanted to bring to if there's anything else I should put on that report, I guess I'll ask that one more time. If the board thinks anything else should go in my report to the council.
When was the last time you met with the council?
Once a year, we meet once a year, we give them an update. And the last time we met was in October of 2020.
Had we launched the Facebook page then?
Yes, I think it was starting to launch, but I'm
We
gonna,
just did. Yeah, we had
I'm
just
gonna
done.
I'll report the status of it, because we've made a lot of progress.
Yeah.
So that is in there. I'll tell you the things that are on the radar right now. 2020, this is 2020, this is 2021. I'm gonna report to them, the Souhegan River Trail, said, but there. The Woodbury Street sidewalk. Actually, I'll lead off with the Woodbury Street sidewalk, because that's progress. And then the Sohegan River Trail. I'm gonna talk about the high school master plan and what's been done there. I was hoping to get some more information from Matt. I'll have to call him and get the latest status of that, but I'm expecting that they've finished their master study and they have got it to the point where it's going to be in the budget, or at least the sidewalk part will be in the budget next year. But I can't say that without further consultation. The next item is the TCC, the Facebook page that you put together, you, Nick. And then just the status, as I understand it, of the Route 3 bridge. And the Souhegan River footbridge I'll mention as sideline. We're not much going on there. That's goes on in the next 10-year plan, which begins in 2023 and goes for 10 years out from there. So
Yes, it's in draft form. I saw the latest one, which was September 17th for the draft form. It is proposed to be within the 10-year plan.
yeah, that's
We asked for it to be on. It has not been formally accepted yet, but once that is approved, which will be next June, it
Yeah.
should be within the 10-year plan.
yeah, okay.
Nelson, I'll email you just some bullet points about the Facebook page and the
Sure.
content we've created this far.
That'd be good.
Yeah,
That'd be good. That'd help me a lot.
some numbers and then
And then I'll
the videos we've done.
And
so
I'll
far.
scramble it around and I'll send it back to you, make sure you like it.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Okay, and then, let me see, yeah. Public comments, wait a minute, I don't know what this is, that's wrong. Draft minutes. Okay. Okay, I've got the wrong pages together here, but I think that's basically a two-page report. It'll have the recommendations then, after that. And, some suggestions for further reading for the council if they choose to do so. So that's good. I appreciate your help, Nick. I'll send you some.
I'll send you the,
Oh, you'll send it to me. Good, good.
yes.
Waiting, Nick. Okay. So the only other thing I had for new business today was the, let's see here, oh yes, this TAP grant that we did receive, or we've got notice that there is a TAP grant that's been granted to the town, that the town applied for through DPW, which is not in our bailiwick, is not in our area. I should explain one thing to Karen especially. This committee is formed to look at the town center, okay? That's what some of that discussion was about. The town center was defined way back in the olden days in a master plan, and it's still defined this way in the master plan, which is areas east of the Everett Turnpike, that's this side of the turnpike, south of Front Street. And Front Street is where the Dunkin' Donuts is, and a little street that goes down to Tractor Supply. So all of that coming south, and as far as the Rite Aid crosswalk, if you will, that section. So all of that area is the town center by the definition that we're working with. So, but this falls out of it. The town council decided in their wisdom to apply for another grant, but which is good. It adds sidewalk between the Rite Aid entrance, I think of just about Chamberlain Road, goes south to the Merrimack 360 shopping plaza. Is that correct?
Mostly.
Mostly? Well, correct me. I'm here to be corrected.
So, there is a small section of sidewalk that you were proposing on your town center committee that is just south of the Souhegan River, so on the other side of the river from the fire station towards the Rite Aid.
Yes.
There's a small section of sidewalk there.
Yeah.
The sidewalk that the town council was looking at is on the other side of Daniel Webster.
Yes.
So within your town center committee town center area, we have to do some type of a crossing to be able to get the people from one side of
Yeah.
Daniel Webster to
Right.
the other side.
Uh-huh.
Plus, there was also a small section of sidewalk, I believe, that was shown on your plan up on that other side of Daniel Webster, but there's no way we can fit a sidewalk in over the Chamberlain Bridge to be able to get, so anyway, there's a little piece of the town center, and I did use that plan again for the application. And
I'm sorry, I'm not quite clear what, there's a piece
so
that
on your
that
plan,
already exists?
there's a piece that already exists going over the Chamberlain Bridge.
Yes, yeah, right.
We're going to
Aware of
tie into that little piece that comes over, but that is also still, there's a number on your town center plan
that. Yeah,
for that little piece of sidewalk and for the crossing over
to
to the
bring
other.
us up to Rite Aid, got it.
Right.
Yes,
So
okay.
that small section has a number underneath your town center plan.
And that's included in this
And that is
grant?
included within,
Oh, wonderful,
this
I didn't
plan.
know, I didn't know that was there, yeah,
from that point,
yeah.
I then used another plan that has been made in the last couple of years by the planning board. So the planning board has been working with National Regional Planning Commission to create a bike ped
Yes, okay.
area
master plan.
along
That's right.
Daniel Webster from Nashua all the way up to Bedford.
Right,
So in addition to your plan,
Uh-huh.
I'm using their plan. This is the first segment that we will be using from that plan. So one of the conditions of using of getting these TAP grants is that you have plans in place.
Yes.
So we have plans in place. It might not be the town center plan the whole way,
Yeah.
but we are at least using a
Yeah.
part of it, and I
Sure.
used both of those.
Great.
And I again placed 8th, and they took 13 communities. We haven't got final approval yet.
Uh-huh.
The whole grant is 1.25 million.
Mhm.
We will get $1 million from federal, and the town has to come up with 250,000
Yeah.
to supplement. So what they have done is they're putting this also within their 10-year plan.
They being.
The state Department of
Okay.
Transportation,
Okay, yeah,
DOT.
Okay.
It is now going into what they call the 10-year planning, their
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah.
So, because I think they were finding that these TAP applications, they were only supposed to take 2 years, and they take longer. By the time you go through design, permitting, because quite often you need permitting, which takes time through the state, and obtaining right-of-way. So if you have to get an easement to be able to go on somebody's private property, that takes time also. So all of these factors come into play before you can even put a shovel into the ground.
Do we know it? Yes.
So, anyway, the bill will be signed, it'll be signed next June, so that's June 2022.
Mhm.
The funding for this from the federal government will not be available beginning October 2022.
Mhm.
We will be doing planning stages for 2022, 2023. Then we will go through permitting and go from there. So we're probably looking at 2024 before we have a final plan that will be able to
Yeah.
go out.
Yeah.
We have up until 2032 is what they have listed for the farthest out. But once the funds are available, then we can move it along. I'm not anticipating a whole lot of permitting through the state because we don't have wetlands. I
No.
don't believe,
Yeah.
I qualify
Yeah.
that, I don't believe until we do our full studies.
Yeah.
But we will need some right-of-way
Yeah. Yeah.
acquisition of some sort, some
Yeah.
easements through there. We have some, and there are some sections of sidewalk that already exist. We'll have to look at drainage, of course. And that's also the side of the road that has every single telephone pole going down.
Wonderful.
So, it's going to be a process, but
Yeah.
it's almost, I think, 3,600 feet. But that'll be another 3,600
Yeah.
feet. It's not gonna happen tomorrow, but we'll keep
Yeah.
working at it and keep it moving
Yeah.
along. And we can't do anything till we have final approval and then the funding.
Yeah.
But we need to have our pieces of that funding, which is 250,000 in the bank.
Budgets, well, budgeted somewhere, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is in the capital improvements plan.
Yeah.
I put it in. It's
Yeah.
there. Well, I put it in. Has it been approved? No.
Yeah, yeah.
But the process for that has begun.
Yeah. Okay, any questions on that? That's very interesting.
It is very interesting.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
these grants are not easy to get. I mean, they're highly, highly competitive. So the fact that we
And then
we
making
seem to
them
be getting
happen
them
is-
almost every cycle, which is,
Making them happen is still so frustrating, even after you get the grant. Look at the Souhegan River Trail. It was in 2014 that we made that we were first awarded that, okay?
You're just impatient, Nelson.
We-
Come on,
2014, what year is this?
let me check.
well, now in the 10-year plan, you'd be, 2025. So
Anyway,
that one did not get put in the 10-year plan, though. That's not the way they had it.
okay, well, we'll just keep hoping and keep asking and keep pushing and bringing it to the attention of those who hold the purse strings, and maybe we'll get something. Let's see if we can get a little more of the town center built. I think it's going to be the focus of our.
We've been working on it. I
Yeah,
have that
yeah.
plan not too far away, so
Yeah.
they have to go
Okay.
and, yeah.
Okay. Anybody have anything else they'd like to bring up today? We've about used our time, and I have nothing else to add to the agenda. I look forward to hearing from Nick, and I will contact Matt Chevanel and see what I can learn about the master plan over there at the school, and see if we can get the O'Gara Drive sidewalk finished, and that would be super. Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn, if that's the wish
So
of the
moved.
board. Okay, thanks, Bill. And we have a second to the motion to adjourn. We must have a second. Second, Karen. Thank you, Karen. All those in favor of the motion to adjourn? Aye, aye. Thank you. Thank you all for attending. I will take an action item to make Karen's